So the second question is, if elected mayor, how will you be sure to keep Hoboken businesses vibrant and balance the needs of the business community with the residential community?
Well, if you look on Washington Street right now, there's numerous, it's been claimed that possibly 21 empty storefronts. Part of the problem is parking, part of the problem is the condition of Washington Street over such a long period of time. The gas line installation started over 2 years ago. And if you look at Union City and you look down Palisades Avenue, which is not even their business district, the roads are completely paved, they're completely clean, and there is well lit. Our lighting on Washington Street is horrific. And the garbage pickup now isn't as many nights as it used to be. The garbage lays there sometimes. And I think these are all things that add to the fact that the business community is suffering. I think you have to draw in, and as is done in Jersey City, a marketing strategy to entice businesses to come to Hoboken. We don't have that. It seems to be an almost rudderless ship, what's going on right now with regards to small businesses. We've lost so many. We had the largest Yankee Candle retailer in Hoboken, more than was sold in Newport. We lost that. The rents are also high. Some landlords are fair, others aren't. I think you have to do that enticing. You have to give incentive, possibly the UEZs and the SIDs, which were pretty prevalent, as we see in Jersey City, Newark Avenue, in the last year and a half, like that. And a lot of Hoboken businesses and Hoboken people are going there. We're losing our nightlife also. As was said in your paper, it's been down 30%. We have to stop the bleeding. And I feel that you have to bring in the business people to sit around, have a roundtable discussion, involve the business owners, involve real estate people, and have them and talk about what does Hoboken need to make businesses stay, what's the enticement. And the parking also is a big issue with regards to the meters. So hopefully if I'm elected, we're going to sit at the table and roll up our sleeves and figure out how to solve these problems.
I gotta say that as a business owner, and I am a small business owner, I own Hoboken Hot House on 2nd and Monroe. I opened in a place that nobody wanted to touch when I opened it. The reason that small businesses are failing, and it's so obvious to me and it's obvious to the community, is the planning and the zoning boards. The planning and the zoning boards are coming up with this nonsensical issue of, instead of paying a fee like other cities do to come into business, and if you're not a criminal and you're not somebody who's going to do something ridiculous in the city, and it's a wonderful thing that you're creating, they want you to go in front of planning and or zoning to decide whether your C of O is going to be given. Now, that costs money. It's enough to pay the fees for your 3 months of security, your high-paying commercial rent, but the planning and the zoning officers have made it absolutely impossible to do business in this community, and everybody knows it. Steve Phillips done a fantastic job in Jersey City, and the reason is because he wants businesses to flourish. Somehow, our mayor and this administration has taken small businesses and just squashed them down to nothing. As a mayor, I would certainly work with readjusting the planning and the zoning officers' positions on how they want to have people file for business. I also think my suggestion, I did a video, if you haven't seen it, go on nasonformayor.com. I have a idea of doing what the city is doing as a night mayor. That means that somebody's watching our nightlife. We have a serious nightlife here. There are more commercial bar licenses given out in Hoboken than anywhere else in the United States per capita. So it needs to be protected. It needs to be protected, and I would make sure that there is a night mayor in position to do so. I'm Karen Nason. I am a business owner. Trust me, I'm going to watch out for you.
So I actually had one of my clients when I was doing consulting with New York State Business Services. So when I worked with them, something I noticed was that the small businesses really don't have the time to manage their social media, improve their marketing. So I think communications is going to be key in supporting directly the small businesses in Hoboken. We need to really establish a brand as a city that really promotes what we have and what we leverage within our business community in our town. Now, the way that we do it is beyond a logo, beyond design. It has to be coordination with different influencers, social media influencers that are doing this already organically. How about we coordinate it together with them and able to support directly the businesses in Hoboken on a constant basis? Besides having a selfie, it's more about what the experience is that we have in Hoboken with the different things that we have to offer.
Having a strong business community is integral and is really the backbone of a strong community. I think we can all agree upon that. Unfortunately, part of the problem with high rents on Washington Street is we don't have any form of commercial rent control as we do with respect to residential rent control. So we have to look at other solutions to address that problem. One thing that I would propose as mayor is to diversify commercial opportunities citywide. Having commercial activity in the Western Edge, having commercial activity in the prospective rail yards project, having commercial activity in the northern end. What that'll do is give small businesses the opportunities to thrive in parts other than Washington Street, and in turn increase competition with respect to rents, and hopefully make Washington Street more affordable to have a business there. So diversifying geographically where you can have retail, restaurants, shops, commercial activities, I think on a policy level is something that will help address the problem. Absolutely right about Ms. Nason about the issues with respect to the bureaucracy at City Hall. I've heard a lot about that. Our construction office, and I hear this from business owners as well as residents, is sorely antiquated. We have only one person in that office who uses email as a form of communication. We need to bring that construction office to the 21st century in order for it to be much easier to get basic things done for our businesses and residents.
One of Hoboken's many, many charms is its small businesses. There's several barriers that make it very difficult for businesses to succeed. Some are within our control and some are market-driven. This brings us back to development and proper planning. Without a daytime population, our businesses can't survive. Bringing commercial into Hoboken, more commercial into Hoboken, we will then have a daytime community that will use our retail stores and our restaurants. If you walk into a restaurant on Washington Street at noon on any given day, you may be the only person eating there, just like any of our shops, likely to be the only one shopping there. You can see downtown along the river where EY is coming. Some employees have already started to move in there. We have Wiley, Pearson, Newell, Jet. Those businesses are beginning to thrive now because of the daytime community. So focusing on bringing in the right kind of development will help our businesses, and in return will help us or benefit us as residents, because we will have a thriving small business community. Also, parking on Washington Street. There needs to, back to the 2 hours parking on Washington Street, there has to be a better way. We have to make sure that people are aware of the parking options in municipal garages. I think half the people that come into Hoboken don't even realize there's a municipal garage just because of the poor advertising for it.
Mom and pop shops are the core of our city. It's what makes Hoboken charming and unique. I've heard a lot about development here, but what I haven't heard from the elected representatives that have been on this council for 6 and 10 years respectively is about our dated, antiquated zoning laws. And without getting too wonky, it all comes back to zoning. I spent 5 years on the zoning board, and I saw the deficiencies with the code. I saw that it's difficult to open up a business north of 4th Street on Washington because it's actually zoned a residential neighborhood. I saw that it's easier to open up a ground floor storage space in our neighborhoods than it is a coffee shop. And I ran for council because I wanted to make neighborhoods more vibrant with mom and pop shops. And to that end, I worked with Council President Giattino to introduce an ordinance to expand our business district along Washington, 1st and 14th Street. Unfortunately, the council president succumbed to a number of political pressures and backed away from that. So she's now talking about development in the north, but what about our neighborhoods? It's essential that we follow the master plan. We've had a master plan in 2004 and then again in 2010. And this council has failed to follow the recommendations of an apolitical body. We need to get back to basics in this city, help our small businesses, create an Office of Economic Development where there's a pro forma of how you have to go about doing things to get from point A, which is entry, to the end game, which is opening up your business. And the cost of entry on Washington Street is high because everybody at this table has failed to make it easier to open up a business. And I've tried, but I am one city councilman. It requires collaboration and thoughtful urban land use to make that happen. We need to also reduce the cost and the efficiencies of the construction code office. A lot of people are moving to Jersey City because what impetus do they have to invest $200,000 in hopes that they can open up a business here? That's why you see the vibrant restaurant scene happening in Jersey City. That's why you see galleries and innovative businesses there. And to that end, I'd like to see a European market come to our train terminal where small businesses can thrive in a creative, collaborative environment, steps from the second largest transportation hub in the state of New Jersey. From there, they can take up a step-up approach to our neighborhoods and then, and only then, to Washington Street. Thank you very much.
I think it was brought to the attention about the zoning and planning. I have a little worries because how could the zoning board officer and her husband be the chair of the planning board, and no one has brought that ever to the attention of the people. The council knows it, and when you talk to businessmen, lawyers, and prospective new business people in a condescending manner, I think that sets a tone that is not good, and that needs to be corrected. And by having an office of Inspector General that I would like to impose if I become mayor, I think that's the first step to do that, and we do have to get some more commercial activity going for a domino theory of a successful economy.
Okay, Mike, I'm at the table, and I absolutely did something about it. So when you say that nobody at this table has done anything about small business and the crushing of it, I think of a prime example of somebody who relentlessly went on public and talked about it. You were on the zoning, other people were on the zoning officers. I asked for a subcommittee to save views. That never happened. There is a problem with using the word diverse business to me. Diverse to me is overused, diversity and diverse in business. Diverse means a change of people or whatever. To me, diversity is not, or diverse is not a job. It's a qualification, and if you're going to say you're going to pick and choose where businesses can happen, I'm against it. Businesses should happen anywhere they want, wherever they want, however they want, in the proper form.
Yeah, I think that something that we have to work on is on having a more transparent government. When business owners have to go back and forth for a year in order to get something done in their business, that's a waste of money, that's a discouragement, and I feel that if we have the rules set all clear, business owners can actually go maybe 2 or 3 times and be able to get things done. So I feel like by working on that end, we can really facilitate new businesses coming to Hoboken and strengthening the current ones as well.
When I use the term diversity in this context, it simply means having additional options as to where we locate our commercial opportunities.
Okay.
So for example, the Hoboken Hot House, which is at 2nd and
Monroe,
is a great example of diversity in the sense of having commercial activity in other parts of Hoboken. So I just want to clarify that. And yeah, we need to think outside the box when it comes to small business. Keep on doing it.
I do agree with what most of the other people at this table are saying about zoning, but we do need to be careful. Most people do not want a bar on their corner. Most people, and I don't blame them. If we just open up zoning to, if you're a business and you can do whatever you want and move wherever you want, we just have to be careful about what kind of zoning is in the neighborhoods, and to kind of piecemeal that. To piecemeal that out is not the proper way to do it. What we need to do is look at the city as a whole and decide where things should go. And in the end, it will make it easier for businesses because going into it, they will know what to expect.
I think by the last 2 responses, you could see why we're so delayed in terms of business. Robbie said, let's keep doing it, think outside the box, but where has he been for 9 years? Council President has referred to bars on the corner, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about small boutiques, doctor's offices, coffee shops. Jen's running with the zoning board chairman that has said no to the building that houses a Legion Charter School, said no to the rock climbing gym that a lot of families are excited about, said no to countless units of affordable housing. This is what we need to change, and Karen has the right to be frustrated. So frustrated she's running for mayor because she was operating a business that should have been allowed in our community that wasn't, and this is what we need to change. So I think that we have to stop doing the same old thing and keep doing something new.